at home against the Miami Heat. The first place team in the Eastern Conference, and we are underway. It'll be 76er basketball. Joel Embiid, in terms of his NBA career, averages the third most highest points per game against these Los Angeles Lakers. A little bit over 30 per contest. Johnson has a little something to say to tie the game at 2 apiece. But the Lakers get the stop. Gabriel with the dribble handoff to Reeves. Reeves couldn't convert. Gabriel with the offensive board. Howard lost the handle. Has to play, I believe, 5 more games to reach the threshold of being considered for the NBA's leading scorer. He and Embiid battling it out right now as Dwight Howard gets that little push shot to fall. Just percentage points ahead of Embiid for that #1 spot.
That was ridiculous.
Unbelievable.
And it's not just the scoring, it's the way he's playing right now.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Reeves double team, gets it to Howard. Howard inside. Embiid might have gotten a piece of that. Frank Vogel very familiar with him going back to his time with Orlando. Johnson inside for Dwight Howard, who finishes. Harden out front off the Embiid screen. Embiid puts his head down and draws the foul on Howard. And that's going to be his second foul. And therein lies the issue for the Lakers, because they are short on bigs, and Dwight just got hit with a technical foul as well. USC and UCLA were very slow to come around on him, Mark. Washington State was actually the first school in the Pac-12 to make him an offer. Stanley Johnson out of Arizona, up court. Nice pocket pass, Howard, and one. Talk about him and Durant and Westbrook, and people had them labeled for several championships, and living in the moment. 14 points, 6 rebounds. This team with as good a chance as anybody in the East. Howard inside. This team with as good a chance as anybody in the East. Howard inside, finishing through the contact to win the NBA scoring championship.
Well, it brings back memories facing Shaq in the NBA Finals.
Coming up on the Toyota halftime, Miami melts down tonight. Cassidy and Matt Barnes in the studio with that and a lot more. Gets it to Harris at the nail inside. Quick duck in by Embiid. Tobias Harris found a nice role in that offense. Around the Howard screen inside, Johnson. Dwight Howard lays it in softly over Embiid. And Westbrook turns it over. Maxey drives it at Howard, missed a wild shot.
Thibault's a guy going to find himself on one of these all-defensive teams.
Yeah.
He's been outstanding all year long.
Howard inside, punching it home.
You and I couldn't dream about getting away with it.
Step-up screen by Howard for Johnson. In traffic, Dwight with the finish. And the lead is down to 10 now for the 76ers.
Start this third or in the middle of the third. He's thinking score and be aggressive.
Here he is with the rebound. James Harden, who gives it to Embiid, and
he does a good job impersonating Mama There Goes That Man also. He's got it down pat.
That and he does a great Stan Van Gundy impersonation.
Yeah.
On his hip a lot of times. He's Dwight's rookie, tasked with carrying around Dwight's boombox.
Who else is big enough to stay in front of Joel Embiid in that situation? Do you work early?
Floater by Monk, no good. Howard on the offensive boards, and the putback up to 19.
Who else is big enough to stay in front of Joel Embiid in that situation? Do you work early?
Floater by Monk, no good. Howard on the offensive boards, and the putback up to 19.
I got to play, dare them to make shots over contested hands. I can't give James Harden and Joel Embiid lanes.
Howard tried to sell the back to his time with Brooklyn, dealing with injuries. Howard at the free throw line, misfiring on the first. Talked about Maxey thriving, Mark. This is a young man, just in his second year. He's had to deal with a lot of adversity off the court.
Off the court and being a leader.
Howard knocks down the first free throw. Mark, you can speak to it as well as anybody when we watch them running up and down and dribbling, right?
Without a doubt. You think everything's fine because they're making a lot of money, and not just basketball, but in life in general. The history in a Laker uniform and the history of Elgin Baylor to pass him, it's incredible. And I like the way that Frank Vogel and everybody else went and congratulated him.
Howard having one of his best games of the season offensively, 21 points to go along with 6 rebounds. Here's next week's NBA Wednesday doubleheader on ESPN at 7 o'clock Eastern time.
The funny thing, I'm sitting over here as a former player and as a former coach. The mindset of Frank Vogel thinking, Dwight Howard, you put together these type of numbers against your former team.
Mentality, if that makes sense. Usually it's the guys that don't get a lot of minutes that go on the first bus. Working against Tobias Harris, 7 on the shot clock. Dwight Howard with the floater. Got it to fall. Maxey, shot clock down to 2, had to launch. Couldn't bail them out, and the Lakers get the stop.
And they clear the whole side, and somebody's got to let Dwight Howard know. And Carmelo Anthony does a great job coming over, helping on that baseline.
Embiid with his improved ball handling draws the foul on the reach by Dwight Howard.